This oversized box has solved two problems for us: package deliveries and outdoor storage. It's simple, overbuilt, and you can size it exactly how you want. We'll start by cutting the boards down to size, and I found a bunch of older boards that were just laying around the property, so we're going to put them to use. These boards are cut to 5 feet in length and will form the bottom platform of the box, and you can of course modify this heavy-duty outdoor storage box to any size you'd like. So now we're going to do a bunch of shorter boards, and I'll cut these to right around 30 inches. The next step is to pre-drill, and we'll just put some 3-inch long screws in here. Bada bing, bada boom. So this is an older board. I'm just going to add a screw to make sure that it stays together and doesn't crack. Pressure treated boards are of course going to be your best choice for any wood that's going to sit on the ground, but I'm trying to make use of what I have, so I'll paint it to help protect it later. And then I'm just going to measure in 19 inches from each end, and we'll put a mark, and there's going to be the thickness of your 2x4, which is 1.5 inches, and then we'll go from this side in 19 inches, mark for your 2x4, and over 1.5 inches. We'll do that same thing on the other side. So we'll go 19 in from the end, put a mark, and then measure over another 1.5 inches, and that's where your stud will go. We'll do the same thing over here, 19 in, and then we'll just put a 2x4 in between that's the same length as that, which is 30 inches. So we'll grab these two guys, which we already cut, and those will fit in just like this, almost like you're framing a wall, except they're not quite 16 inches on center, just so that we could space them properly for this design. We'll use 3-inch long deck screws to attach each of the boards. We'll mark at 33, and we'll go 60 down. We'll adjust the depth quick on our circular saw, so we go through this OSB and not too much through the foam. So then we'll just mark where our studs are underneath. I know that I'm 19 in. This way we'll be able to make sure that we hit it with our screws. And then we take a screw, okay, and we'll go like this. So I'm just going to do it like traditional framing. Put some screws in from the bottom and from the top, just like we were if we were building a wall for a home or a shed. We'll frame it out so that it works well with our smart siding. I'm going to do 24 inches on center. It's going to require 2 boards. Measure out 24. Go 3/4 before it, 3/4 after. Put a mark. And then at 48, we'll do 3/4 before, 3/4 after. 24 over, and then 3/4 before it and afterwards. So basically 23 1/4 and 24 3/4. Put an X in between. And then we'll go 48, 3/4 before that. So 47 1/4 and 48 3/4. X there. All right, so then again, we'll measure from the left to the right. We'll do 23 1/4, 24 3/4, put an X. So these are 24 inches on center. And then we'll do the same thing on the top. Then attach the vertical boards for the sidewall. And you may think this is a bit overbuilt in general, but if you need the weight to prevent it from blowing in a storm or from someone stealing it easily, this is going to do the job. All right, so now we can stand up this sidewall. Make sure nothing's underneath. And then we'll go ahead and put up this other sidewall. Then we'll measure in between 26. And then we'll go in 24 inches, but actually from the end of this wall. So our stud's gonna go right here for 24 inches on center. This is essentially built similar to a shed. So if you ever do want to build a small shed, just do a larger platform with skids, taller walls, a roof, a door, and you'll have a good spot to store your yard tools or whatever else you need to store. Put this guy up. Let's go about 31.5 down. Okay, so here's what I got. Just scraps from building a few sheds over the years. And I should be able to get a couple pieces out of this. I'm just using some 2-inch wood screws I had laying around the shop. These panels are called LP Smart Siding, and I had some small scraps to work with since they were left over from a shed project. But if you have larger panels or full-size pieces of plywood, you won't need to worry about lining a second piece up on the sides like I did. And you could also use fewer studs in the wall if you wanted. I used the table saw to do multiple passes to create a rabbit edge or a shiplap style overlap so it would line up with the other siding. This custom box can be painted any color you'd like, so it will tie in with your home and your property. I rolled on a dark gray exterior paint to match the trim on our house. To save some money on trim, I bought a 12-foot long by 8-inch wide LP Smart Siding board for about $13 and just cut it into 2.5-inch wide strips to trim out the corners of the box. See how they look, and then add glue to the edges before using 18-gauge nails to build each of the corner trim sections. The board we're using for the trim is only about 3/8 inch thick, so if a nail accidentally pops out to the side, just use a cutoff wheel to remove it or pull it out with the pliers. The next step was to build the frame for the lid out of 2x4s. I mitered the ends at a 45-degree angle to look a little nicer, but you can certainly stick with a regular 90-degree cut to keep things simpler. The frame overlaps the trim of the box on the left, right, and front side about a 1/2 inch. I pre-drilled and used two 3.5-inch long screws at an angle for each corner. I added 2 boards in the center to strengthen the frame and as a connection point for the siding or plywood that will be used for the top lid. Pocket holes make attaching the boards easy, but you could also toenail them at an angle if you don't have a pocket hole jig. Attach the lid to the frame, and my scrap piece of siding wasn't quite big enough, so I cut and used an additional strip to cover the remaining back portion. Add an additional piece of trim on the rear side so the back of the lid is flush with the box, which enables the rear hinges to sit flat once attached. Paint the underside of the lid if you'd like, followed by the top. I'd recommend 2 coats of paint. Cut a couple blocks from the 2x4s to use as backing behind where the hinges will go so that the hinge screws will bite into it and you'll have super solid hinges. Once the hinges were on, I added a couple extra boards to the underside of the lid, so I had a place to mount the brackets for the gas springs. Depending on what your springs look like, you may need to modify where your blocking goes to fit your specific hardware. A latch was added to the front to help keep the lid secure, and in case you want to add a padlock on it later, and a spare piece of the siding was again used so the latch goes on flat. Because this box is fairly deep so it can fit large packages or big patio seat cushions, I added a shelf that can slide in and out of place to sit smaller packages on without having to reach to the bottom of the storage box. I ordered a pair of 20-inch gas springs from Amazon for about $26 so that the lid opens and closes easily. You'll basically mount a bracket to the underside of the lid and to the frame of the box. As you can see, I added additional blocking to the box to mount the hardware to, and it will take a little trial and error to get placement right, but it isn't too bad. The gas springs I got honestly work great, but the instructions were terrible, and the bottom brackets did bend a little bit. So while they do work well, I'm going to make some new lower brackets out of angle iron. I honestly don't think I oriented the lower brackets correctly, so it could have been more user error, but just research and find the best gas springs according to reviews that will work for your outdoor storage box. One extra step you might consider if you plan to move it with pallet forks with either a skid steer or a tractor is to put skids on the bottom so it can be moved easier without damaging it. We put this in place at the end of the driveway, so we'll have packages delivered when it gets a little too tricky with snow and ice on our steep driveway in the wintertime, and we'll probably use it for storage in the warmer months. Hopefully this video gives you some ideas and inspiration to tackle your next project. Thanks for sticking around till the end, and please consider giving a thumbs up and subscribing if you found the video helpful. Cheers!